thank you guys so much for being here and just joining us. And really the goal of today is to help you prepare for the fall semester. Um, I want to introduce some of the folks that are going to be helping us and, just kind of guiding you through this. We have a website that I want to share with you that I want you to be able to utilize and access after today. I also have some slides that I want to share. I'll be sharing throughout this presentation, just for you to see some of the information and screenshots of pictures of what we have going on. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Kurt Pylan. I'm the Director of College Relations and Outreach for Reedley College. And again, I'm going to be kind of the MC for today. I also have with me my team, and that's Frankie Herrera. I have Mia Navarro and Marcy Braggs who are on. They're going to be actually monitoring the chat throughout the day and answering any questions that you may have. Okay, so you can see, Brandy, you had a question about the background, and Mia jumped in and helped with that, to answer. So thank you, Mia, for that. Again, they're going to be answering any questions. At the end of the day today, I'm going to put up the contact information for my department. That's College Relations and Outreach. And I just want you guys to know, when you email or when you call us, it's actually going to be myself, Mia, Frankie, or Marcy who are going to be responding. So it's actual humans, it's people that you're going to be contacting. When you call the phone number, we all have remote phones. Even though we're working remotely this semester, we're all going to be accessible and available to you to help. Okay, so you're not alone. We're all experiencing this pandemic together, and so again, we're here to help. Okay, so I do have some guests with me as well that I want to acknowledge, and the first one is Vanessa Leva. Vanessa, if you can unmute and introduce yourself, and then if you can introduce our ASG folks as well, that'd be great.
Yeah, hi, my name is Vanessa Leva, and I work in the Student Activities Office. My title is Senior Program Specialist, and in our office, we pretty much oversee clubs, student government, food pantry, and we organize different activities and events, usually on campus. But this semester, we've got some virtual activities planned. We've got some scavenger hunts and bingo and other things that we're working on. But yeah, that's me. And I will introduce you to our ASG. We've got Reina, Gerardo, Steven, and Dulce here.
Great. So what we're doing again is we're really trying to create an environment where we can help you prepare for the fall semester. Start thinking about what you need to get in order to be ready for Monday. The semester starts Monday, so it's right around the corner, and we're excited. As you know, with the pandemic, most of our courses are going to be online, and so your classes are going to be done remotely, but we're going to be available to help you. Okay, we're going to be available via email again, phone. Also, we're going to do various Zoom activities and events throughout the semester to keep you engaged. The hope is that we can get back to the campus as soon as possible, hopefully this spring. But as you guys know, it changes, right? So there's really no sure answer of when we can be back on campus, but just know that we're going to try to create that connection and that community remotely with you guys. Okay.
Thank you, Kurt. Sorry, this is Mia. I just had a question in the chat that maybe a lot of students have right now. And that question is, when should we be expecting our lecture times to be available to view?
Right, so we're going to talk about Canvas, and we're going to talk about some of those things. Let's pin that question for now, but we're going to circle back. Nathaniel, we're going to circle back and we'll answer that question. Okay, so keep that in mind. Mia, thank you. If I miss it, Mia, please ask again in a bit, but we're going to get to Canvas. Okay, so before we move on, I wanted to introduce somebody else who's here, and her name is it's our VP, it's our Vice President of Student Services. Her name is Miss Renee Craig Maris. Renee, thank you so much for joining us. Any welcome or words of wisdom that you want to share with us before we get into the website?
Sure, really briefly. Welcome everyone, welcome students. It's so great to see your faces. I'm going through the screens and this is so awesome. It's like a big extended Brady Bunch. So this is cool. And so I just want to welcome you to Reedley College. We're excited to have you here. We're excited to connect with you and serve you and help you with your educational goals and reaching those goals and supporting you in that and doing whatever we can to help you. So please rely upon us. There's a lot of staff in this town hall session that are here to help you. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Mia. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, ASG. And yes, we use acronyms. I got to stop that. Thank you, Vanessa, for saying it's Associated Student Government, because we use a lot of educational language and we forget that students don't necessarily know what we're saying. So thank you for that. And I appreciate ASG President Reyes and Stephen Codura and all of the senators that are here. You have a great team of student leaders who are here to help and support you. So again, just enjoy this time, connect, engage, meet each other online, and would love to talk with you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to my office. We'll be posting, we have those resources online in terms of how to connect with us. All right, enjoy your session.
Thank you, Renee. So again, there's a website that I'm going to be referencing a lot. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the link in the chat. And it's basically reedleycollege.edu/preview. That's the website where we've tied in all of the links and all of the information that you need in order to get started for this fall semester, okay? So I'll share the website in a minute. What I wanted to do is just jump into some of the questions, and I don't want to talk the whole time. So I want to get our ASG, since we all know what that stands for now, I want to get them involved to answer some of these questions. So Vanessa and ASG, one of the main questions that we get, and there's already some in the chat, so we're going to touch on those as well. But how are you guys preparing for the fall semester? What are you guys doing? If you can just, again, share what you're doing to just help with getting some ideas out to our new students on what they can do to prepare. Who wants to answer that one?
Oh, I could go first. Hi, I'm Rena. So what I'm doing to prepare for the fall semester is just scheduling, because I'm planning to get a job, so I'm trying to get my time slots and getting my calendar ready, and then I'm checking Canvas to see what books I need and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm doing so far.
Anybody else?
Okay.
Or otherwise, Stephen? Go ahead, yeah.
I'll go next. So like Reina had mentioned, one of the important things that you must do is check your Canvas. You also want to check your emails. Also go on WebAdvisor so you know that you're at the right place. If you have any fees to pay them on time. Make sure you get your books on time, or ask the instructor if they have any other options available, just so you're prepared on time. That's it for me.
Hey, Kurt, I can go next. How's it going, everybody? My name is Steven. I'm part of the student government also. And, you all have, in high school, you might have had like the super seniors. I'm like a super senior, but the college version. I've been around for quite some time, so I know some of the ins and outs. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. But in the virtual environment that we're going into right now, things are just crazy. You're not used to this, right? Like, this wasn't anything that we expected. So some of the things that you really got to do is be checking your Canvas and be checking your email all the time. The good thing about technology, we're all glued to our phones now. So there's an app for pretty much everything. So there's an app for Canvas. There's an app for your email, the Microsoft Outlook app. You can access that through Google Chrome also. So we can access it from our phone. Make sure you have some technology. As you can see, I'm in my car right now because I get better internet access away from my house because I live in a rural part of Dinuba. So, internet out there is not the greatest. So you got to know those things about yourself already. So, finding the best access point for you to get online. But yeah, check your Canvas. You're professors are going to be emailing you a lot. Canvas inbox is different from your email. So if you want to set up notifications to where if you get a message in Canvas, it'll also send you your email, you can do that. Just go through your settings, take a look around that Canvas, go through some of the tutorials, and just know what you're getting into. And as I said, you have books and things like that that are going, that you're going to need for the semester. Take a look at the bookstore. There's programs on campus that'll pay for your books. So take a look around. There's EOP&S program. There's programs out there to really help you succeed throughout the semester. We have a food pantry. So the food pantry, if you really need food while you're going through your classes, you're struggling on making ends meet, hey, come by the food pantry. We got food for you. So there's a lot of different services, and ASG worked really hard this past summer to make sure that you know what those services are. So they're going to be part of your syllabus and part of your actual Canvas platform. So to take a look at all those resources that are there for you.
And we have some screenshots that I'll share shortly of what Steven's referring to, but, and Mia, you mentioned it. I think that's great advice on the internet connection. I'm in my garage right now, and my internet, I probably just jinxed it, but my internet's working pretty good out here. I would recommend and encourage you to look for a different area of your house, a spot where you can create kind of a workspace for your classes. And, don't be afraid to be outside if you can, or if you need to jump in your car. I mean, definitely do what you can. The next question that we've been getting a lot of, and you guys kind of mentioned it, but what kind of technology are you guys utilizing? Are you guys using, just your phones? Do you guys have laptops, tablets? What are you guys, ASG folks, what are you guys utilizing technology-wise for this coming semester?
So I'm using a laptop, and like for some tests, I could use my phone. For some teachers, it's harder for them to use your phone. Like for Canvas and stuff, you could do a Canvas test on phones, but I prefer my laptop, so that's what I'm using, my laptop and my tablet.
I know how to do it.
Like Reina said, I'm utilizing my laptop. And then during the summer when I was taking some classes, some teachers suggested not using your phone because that could create problems, especially when you're taking tests and stuff. So I'm making sure that I have a backup in case my laptop crashes or in case something happens to my laptop. I have a backup to whether it's here at my house or somewhere else. Like I have a friend who has an extra laptop or a tablet that I can use just in case that happens, because you have to plan for a lot of things, especially when you have assignments due in a few hours and everything.
So have any of you guys, ASG, have you guys actually checked out any of the technology that the college has offered?
Yeah, Kurt, I wanted to get into that actually. So a lot of the people in the chat are saying, they have laptops, they have phones. Some of you might not have a laptop, maybe not even a phone, but that's great. That's, that happens. The school is here for you to provide those resources for you. They've allotted some resources and some funding to be able to purchase laptops. So you can go and check those out. I have not purchased, or I have not rented a laptop because when that stimulus check hit, I had to go and get myself my own brand new laptop. But if you didn't have that opportunity, the college has those for you to check out. Call the technology department. What I did go and check out was a personal hotspot. That's something, even though I don't get the greatest service at home, that's something that you could still check out. Maybe you don't have internet at your house, but you can get internet. It's just too expensive. You can get a personal hotspot device, get it at your house. I know they recently ran out. ASG is trying to talk to technology and see about getting possibly some new ones with the new stimulus funding that's coming in. So we're taking a look at that. Also, like I saw in the chat earlier, you're asking how do you know what kind of resources you're going to need? Like what book and what, if you need a calculator or a protractor, different things like that. The syllabus is uploaded to your Canvas for each one of your different classes that you're going to take. So make sure you take a look at the required resources. If you need a calculator, I think the school is actually renting those out also. So take a look at that.
So I have up on here, I'm sharing my screen. We do have technology checkout, which is great. and it is first come, first serve. The information around that is under the Get Connected part of the preview page. So what it is basically you call a phone number and you sign up, you give them your student ID number, and then we'll have days of checkout where you can physically go to the campus and you can pick up your laptop or your MiFi or your calculator, whatever it is that you need technology-wise to utilize for the semester. This is no cost to students, so it's a great, that's a garbage truck, but it's a great resource for students. We want to make sure that we exhaust those resources. So again, if you live in a rural area and you need consistent technology, we got you covered. So please make sure that you take advantage of that. And again, it's incorporated into the website, that information. Okay. Guys, ASG, anything else to share regarding technology? Any recommendations?
Yeah, actually, Kurt, I saw recently there was an email that got sent out about the bookstore having links to all of your textbooks, I believe it was. So there was a recent email that literally just went out, I think a day or two ago.
Yesterday,
yeah, yesterday.
You ruined my presentation, man. That's coming up. That's coming up, though.
I'm gonna save the thunder for you, Kurt.
No, but he's right. So we'll get there. Okay. So the next question I have, guys, thank you so much. And again, as there's questions, my folks, if we can, if we can get those questions answered. I see something about, we have Wendy from Oakhurst. You know what, the checkout in Oakhurst is going to be out of Madera. Wendy, if you email me, I can send you in the right direction for that. So what I'll do is I'm going to put my email address for you, Wendy, in the chat. And you'll learn this over time, but most of our email addresses are our first name dot last name at the college that we're at. So Wendy, email me and I will follow up with you around getting technology in Oakhurst. We have it and we'll take care of you for that, okay? So guys, what is the portal? You guys have mentioned it a few times. Can you talk about what the portal is for our students here?
Okay, I'll take that. So the portal is pretty much where Canvas, Web Advisor, your student emails at. It's a one-click type of application. You sign in. Something you need to know is that to sign into your email, to sign into Canvas, Web Advisor, it's all going to be the same thing. Yeah, Kurt has something up, but all you have to know that it's really where all those apps that you're going to use frequently are going to be placed at. So it's very important to know how to manage that and how to navigate through that.
So like Gerardo said, thanks, and please, Stephen, you can chime in, but the portal is going to be on our website. So you go to reedleycollege.edu. On the top right-hand side, there's a link that says My Portal. You click on that, you sign in. Your username is your student ID. So you guys had to utilize your student ID and password to log into this Zoom today. So you were experts at logging in at this point. So that's where you would go again to access Web Advisor, this email account that's linked there, and also Canvas. Stephen?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, your login's pretty much the same. Once you get into your portal, it has the main links there. And that's really going to be the focus. I've actually, one of the tricks that I've done is made that my homepage. So every time I open up Google Chrome, it takes me straight to the portal login. It's something that you're going to want to check every day. Web Advisor, for your student fees, making sure that you're in good academic standing, all that kind of stuff. Your student email to make sure that you're on top of all the emails that are coming out from the school and from your professors. And then Canvas, just to make sure you're on top of your studies. In Canvas, they have, calendar links to where if you have an assignment due, it's all on your calendar in there. So I would definitely make that one of your main pages on your web page, whatever you use, Google Chrome, Safari, whatever it is, make that one of your home pages, so that way you have instant access to that all the time.
You know what I want to do is, Mia, do we have any questions? I know there's a few that we had mentioned that had asked about classes.
Yes. I wanted to answer specifically Nathaniel's question about, like, how does he know what lecture times are going to be for his classes. And then Wendy had a question about if she's in a nursing program, does she have to wear scrubs? So I just told her to check Canvas, but maybe you can add to that.
So for the class times, we have had a lot of questions about that. Hopefully you have emailed your instructor. If you haven't, that would be the next recommendation, is to try to contact your instructor. I would email them through Canvas to see if they can give you more information on when, if they have synchronous class times, which is what we're doing now when everybody's together. If they have specific times, they can let you know so that you can plan accordingly. One thing I will remind you, or kind of let you know, is that our instructional faculty is actually back tomorrow. So if you have emailed your teacher and you haven't heard anything yet, it's okay. You still have some time. Hopefully you'll hear something before or on the first day of class. What we are encouraging you to do, though, is to make sure that you do log in on Monday. So log into your online class, get into Canvas and look around. You can do that now, but make sure that you are logging into class on Monday. Everyone should be doing that, okay? So, before any other questions, I wanted to just show you, and Stephen had mentioned it earlier, yesterday it went live to where the bookstore is actually embedded in Canvas. So instead of trying to find the link to the bookstore, which is actually on our website, but you don't even have to do that now. You go into Canvas, you log in through the portal, and then you would, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, there's a kind of a dashboard. There's a list of different options. You'll see one that says My Bookstore. When you click on that, it's going to take you to the bookstore, and it's actually going to populate with all of the textbooks that you need. So it's going to show all of your classes, and it'll show you which books are required for your classes, or if there's no textbooks that are required for your classes. So that's actually a really neat feature that is going to save you some time trying to find your textbooks. Students, ASG, tell us about textbooks. How do you get your textbooks? Do you use a bookstore? What can you share about strategies on how to get your textbooks? Also, do you need to have your textbooks before the semester starts?
So I get my textbooks either from the bookstore or Chegg or Amazon. Usually Amazon's a little bit more cheaper. And then do you need your textbooks before class? Well, if you have financial aid, professors understand that, your financial aid disbursement doesn't come in until a little bit later. So they'll be a little lenient on that. Or if you could find a buddy, a classmate that could help you share the textbook with you and stuff, that's also great, because that's what I did for one of my classes. I offered to share my textbook with some classmates because the textbook was pretty expensive, or you guys could all pitch in and rent a textbook. It's almost the same thing, but that's what I recommend for textbooks.
Raina, can you add those websites in the chat for the students?
Yeah.
Do I have any faculty on that can talk about really the question around, do you need to have the textbooks before class starts? So again, as a student, class starts Monday. If I don't have my book yet, should I be worried? Do I have a faculty that can jump on and kind of share their, share some feedback on that? I know I have like eight counseling faculty on here. Come on, guys. Don't be scared. Cool. No problem. But again, as Raina mentioned, financial aid is important, correct? Instructors understand that it may take some time to get financial aid in order, or to get the funds in order to get your textbooks. So still go to your class, log in on your first day. Usually the instructor will give you more direction on when you need to have your books by. I've been with this district for about 15 years. Honestly, if you don't have it on the first day, it's okay. You probably want to work on getting your books within the first week, though, so that you don't get too far behind in your curriculum or in your course classes. Okay, so definitely make sure that you do that.
Kurt,
Yes.
I just wanted to add, you're right. Faculty are a little bit lenient on students the first week, but it's very important that they try to get it ASAP, the books.
So Mia, Frankie, Marcy, do we have any other questions in the chat that we need to address?
Yes, there are a lot of questions about classes not showing up in Canvas. So how else can they get the professor's email to ask about waitlisted courses and what textbook information that they need?
Okay, so in Canvas, again, with the faculty coming back starting tomorrow, some of the classes haven't been published yet in Canvas, which means it's not live. So the faculty could be making last-minute changes or adjustments to their classes before they post them on Canvas. So again, keep checking. Also, make sure you check your email. I've had a couple of faculty that said that they've been emailing their class in preparation for the fall. So again, it's important that you do check your email.
And that's what
Go ahead.
That's
Marcy.
what I was going to say too, Kurt, because my daughter is taking a summer school class and the instructor emailed her. So you have to make sure that you check your district, your college email every day, because that's actually how they're going to let you know. They actually sent her the syllabus in her email.
Right, so again, I would make it a habit to check your college email every day. That's through the portal. You can set it up to where the college email gets forwarded. If you use a Gmail account or something more regularly, you can do that. But I would just recommend getting in the habit of checking your email daily, maybe a few times a day as well, because all of the college-related content information will go through that actual email account. Now, if your class isn't populated on Canvas yet, you can go back into WebAdvisor and you can look up your class schedule to find your instructor's contact information, and you can reach out to them via email, okay? Now there's something about waitlists, right, Mia? Somebody had a question about waitlists?
Yes, like how do they get on by well, but actually Gerardo answered that, so I don't know if it was clarified. Gerardo said, you know, email the instructor because it's a virtual setting, so the instructor can know on the status for the wait list, and then also to check WebAdvisor or their email.
Great, and I'm looking at a few questions I'm seeing. How would you know what time to log in? Again, we're recommending everybody logs in on Monday, and just check with your instructor. They'll give you more specific times on when to log in if they do have required login times and days of the week, okay? Now, we did send out a planner in the mail that kind of looks like this. Hopefully some of you guys got the planner. You can utilize the planner to write down the days and times of when your class meets, or any type of planner that you may utilize, so that you know when you can, when you can work, or when you can have study time, and then when you're going to be physically in your class. On campus, that's the next thing that I want to mention. For on-campus classes, there are some classes on campus. Our CTE programs, that's career technical education, and also our lab sciences are going to be on campus as well. So if you're doing the like, let's say a biology class, you'll have your lecture online, but then when you have your lab, it'll be on campus. There's a few things that they're working out for on campus, for entering the campus. None of our support services are going to be available on campus. We're all going to be working remotely. But if you do have to get to campus, there are a few things that you have to follow. Did anybody get a text just the other day that showed information about extreme registration that's happening today? Did you guys get a text from a number? You're like, who's this? And there was a link to our district website. Did anybody get that? Great. So that's our text notification system. You're going to get another text. Today's Wednesday, tomorrow, that's going to encourage you or to remind you to log in to your class on Monday, and that's going to be logging into Canvas. Somebody said, how do we log in? That's specifically to Canvas and clicking on your class, okay? But we're also going to get a text notification that goes out, and what we're calling it is it's a student health agreement or a safety agreement, where it's going to outline what you have to do in order to be able to step foot on campus. And it's following the CDC guidelines, guys. So of course, you're going to need to have a mask or a face covering when you enter the campus. You're going to need to acknowledge social distancing, and just be very aware of your surroundings and the posted signage that we have on campus. So I saw somebody that mentioned being a part of the mechanized ag, the Mac Ag program, also the nursing program. I would follow up with your instructors in terms of the details on the on-campus, but we are going to be experiencing some social distancing, right? So if you're in a lab, there'll be some protective measures in place to ensure that everybody's operating safely. As far as scrubs for the nursing program, to be honest with you, I'm not sure. I would just follow up with your instructor to see if they have any more details on what the new protocols are going to be for dress specifically for our programs. We also have our dental assistant programs. They're going to have specific requirements as well. Is there any other questions, Mia, that we have any other that we could address?
Just Eric wanted to know how he could get a planner because he never got one. So I gave him your email to email you.
Yes, please do. If you didn't get a planner, shoot me an email and I'll get one out to you. I know we have some continuing or returning students with us today, and I appreciate you guys being here. So we want to make sure that we get you guys connected. And we got cool stickers, man. I got a sticker. I got a Reedley College sticker that we sent out too. So I want to make sure that you guys get that, okay? Next, one of the other things that we have that you'll hear a lot about, not only this semester, but in the semesters to come, is guided pathways, okay? We are gonna be doing and incorporating guided pathways for all of our students. And I was hoping that our ASG folks can really kind of start the conversation. What is a guided pathway? Can you guys take that for me?
Kurt, I'd love to start on Guided Pathways. Guided Pathways is a brilliant program that is coming to our school. And the reason for it is to ensure success of students. So for me, I started at the school about 5 years ago, and I didn't know what major I wanted to be a part of. I kind of took random classes here and there. And, 5 years later, here I am still at the school taking classes. The reason the Guided Pathways is established on our campus is you can choose a major and a pathway, and in 2 years you can get done with your program and be done with community college. So they have a already set in plan motion for you to go through. So myself, I'm a PE teacher and I wanted to do kinesiology. So I would take the kinesiology pathway in the STEM program, and my 4 or 6 semesters will already be mapped out for me. I can take, four classes in this semester, 4 classes in this semester, 2 classes during the summer, and so on and so forth. And the best part about it is now in these pathways, you have a core group of people that just work with that pathway. You can consider it almost like your high school homeroom. You're going to go into classes with all of these students that you're in the same program with, and the teachers are all going to be the same. You have a dean, a department head that's for that pathway. You have a counselor that's specific for that pathway. You're going to have a student lead specific for that pathway, so you can reach out to that student and say, hey, you've probably taken this class before. What should I know about this class? Or different things like that. So they'll definitely be able to help you out with some of the events that are going on in campus. You have specialized events for just your pathway. Hopefully they'll have STEM events just for the STEM pathway, and so on and so forth, for social sciences and different pathways that we have on campus. And it's hopefully going to bring a lot more of a cohort experience, or like a camaraderie group experience to the community college system, and hopefully that'll give you a lot more success in taking your studies.
As an educational doctor, I have to concur with what you said, Stephen. Great example and great description. So ultimately, it's a group of folks that are going to help you. They're going to help you with all aspects of just being a student at Reedley College. We're going to help you learn more about different opportunities within your pathway. You're going to learn more about different internship opportunities, different activities and events specific to your pathway. So after today, you all are going to get an email from Aaron Cobb. He's one of the counselors that's part of the student success teams. He's going to send you an email to your college email account. So again, we want to make sure that you're checking your college email account, because starting next week, we have a pathway orientation set up. So we're going to introduce you to your success team remotely starting next week. So you're going to get, again, you're going to get an email that's going to invite you to participate in a pathway orientation. If you have the planner, or I have it on a presentation slide, I'm going to bring that up real quick. We have 7 pathways. Okay, so let me share that real quick. We have 7 pathways. So we have this really neat graphic that shares our pathways. The pathways are basically created based on majors or interest areas. So like Steven said, if we have a kinesiology major, which is usually going to be physical therapy or a PE teacher or something like that, they're in the STEM pathway, along with maybe students that want to go into nursing or go into engineering or that kind of stuff. So they're heavy on the sciences. So those students are in a pathway. So this graphic here has a list of all of the majors that we have. It's not as detailed, we have more, but in essence, all of the big list majors are here. So what I want you guys to do is take a second to reflect on what your major is and what pathway you should be a part of. Okay, so if you're wanting to go into teaching, for example, and you were in liberal studies, or you're in the transfer pathway, which is the elementary teacher education pathway, which pathway do you think you'd be a part of? Just throwing it out there. If you want to give me an answer in the chat, and if you want to go into teaching, which pathway do you think you'd be a part of? Anybody? Any takers? Just throw it in the chat if you think you know which one it is. I feel like 4 strikes. You guys are killing me. So the pathway for teaching would actually be, Jacob, I think you have it, child development and education. Okay, so those are going to be students that want to work with kids more than likely, and they want to maybe teach a discipline. So you want to work in education. So that's our pathway for child development and education. Let's try another one. Okay, so let's say that you wanted to be a psychology major and you wanted to go on and do marriage and family therapy. So your major is psychology. Which pathway would you want to be a part of? What do you think? Ryan, you probably beat me to it. It's social sciences, okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What I want you guys to do is really kind of think about your own pathway or your major. And then again, you're going to get an email that, because everybody's already assigned it to a pathway based on the major that they selected when they applied, okay? Now, if you applied as, let's say, a liberal studies major, we can, and you want to change your major, you can meet with a counselor and they can help you change your major so that we get you into the correct pathway. Okay, so just keep it, again, we're going to reiterate, you're going to hear it 1,000 times. Just make sure that you're checking your email account, your college email. Okay.
And Kurt,
yes,
I just want to say, and if you don't choose a major, maybe you come in and you don't know what you want to do yet. There are still going to be just general counselors there that will still be able to help you. But the sooner you choose a pathway and really start going on your class schedule, the more in tune you're going to be with Reedley College, the more embedded into the program you're going to be, the more in touch with everybody around you. So, and you'll be on a faster pace to get out of here. So just wanted to throw that out there.
So we've gotten a lot of questions about Canvas and how do you, how often do you log in? We keep saying log into your class on Monday. What does that mean? So what I wanted to do is I wanted to ask the students, our ASG folks, talk about your experience with Canvas. I know, Stephen, you've hit a lot of it already, but how often do you guys check Canvas, and what would you recommend to the new incoming student?
I would recommend checking it every day, regardless if you have classes or assignments due, just so like that you can always keep track of what you have to do, when you have to do it, if you have any questions, or if a lot of the teachers use Canvas to post announcements. They also add, since now we're in Zoom, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are gonna record and add the Zoom meetings on there, or if some instructors aren't gonna meet regularly on Zoom, they're gonna post, oh, we have a Zoom meeting this day. So I would check it every single day, just so you know where you're at, just so you are on track with all your assignments and everything.
And I just want to say, Kurt, the best thing to do right now is to just download the app, because I know you all have like your social media apps already, right? You have your Facebook, your Instagram, your Snapchat, and they pop up notifications for you, right? You get a direct message, you know, someone hits your DMs, and boom, you get that notification. Same thing happens for Canvas. You can turn on the same sorts of notifications, so that way, anytime a grade gets posted, a new assignment gets posted, you know, anything along those lines, boom, you'll get a notification. And the Canvas app will definitely help you out. You're glued to your phone all the time anyways. So instead of having to break out your computer, log in, go to your My Portal, you can already just go straight to your app, click on it. It brings you up to the main page of your Canvas. You can click on it on your subject, and then, you know, have all the different modules in there already loaded up and ready to go.
Gerardo, do you have something to add, man?
They pretty much covered it all.
Thanks, man. So again, the main thing is to make sure that you're logging into Canvas and you're getting familiar with Canvas. I've seen a couple of questions in the chat about connecting with a counselor and what all that entails. Also, the selection of a pathway shell. Again, you're going to get an invite to participate in the pathway. I have a screenshot that I want to share with you real quick of what a pathway looks like, and also I want to share with you some of the other information that's going to be helpful to you in Canvas. So let me bring that up again. So when you get invited to a pathway shell, it's going to have basically all of the content that you need related to the orientation for the pathway, but also contact information for faculty, information on different activities and opportunities along that pathway. When you get into the pathway, if you scroll down to the very bottom, we have 7 pathways within Reedley College, and we have a lead counselor for every pathway. So this is a great way to connect with the counselor in your pathway, is basically go to your Canvas shell, and you can see in this one, this is a screenshot of the STEM pathway, and we have Pedro's contact information there on the bottom, so you can click on that link and email Pedro directly if you have questions, okay? That's a way to be able to contact your counselor. Another thing that's going to be in the pathway shells, and Stephen had mentioned this earlier, it's called the student resource page, and if it's under every online class and also in your pathway shells. If you click on the module link on the left hand side when you're in a class, you'll see the link that says Reedley College Student Resource Page, and when you click on that, it's going to have you basically link and access to all of the different resources that we have available to you as students. So one of the things that my staff is heavily involved in is the Online Information Center. So if at any point throughout the semester you're just confused or you don't know where to start, we're here for you. Again, you can click on that. You can live Zoom link into the Online Information Center, and we can answer your questions. We can point you in the right directions, and we can get you connected with the right folks, whether it's financial aid, whether it's one of our tutorial services, or whether it's with a counselor or what have you. So we have that information there as well. Is there any other questions from the chat that we can touch on?
Yes, what happens if a student has a doctor appointment, or when they have doctor appointments?
Right. So if there's anything that comes up that is going to prevent you from, from participating, whether it's a live class session or an assignment, the most important thing you can do is contact your instructor. You want to talk to them. You need to tell them, keep them in the loop. We had a student yesterday at our event that said they had a surgery coming up. And, you want to be open in communication with your teacher to let them know that, that you have something that you're working on, and hopefully they'll be flexible with you and help you just, continue making progress on the class and hopefully keeping you on track to finish. So make sure that you communicate any of the needs that you have, and anything that's coming up with your instructor.
Another question is, how do we choose a minor?
How do you choose a minor? You know what? Do we have any counselors on that can discuss it? Maybe make a recommendation.
Hi, Kurt. It's Danielle. So, yeah, I can help out with that. And then I saw a couple questions in the chat as well that might be good for a counselor to address. So, we don't have specific minors here at Reedley. We have some certificates that would be appropriate, and that some students might think that those are considered minors. So the best thing to do is to talk with your counselor and your faculty that are in your major about what would be a good supporting program, because you can totally double major. You could be a psychology major, and then you might want to add on a certificate, like one of our human services. So that is something that would be kind of equivalent to doing a minor. But definitely the faculty within your pathway would be able to help you out with that, and then also whoever your pathway counselor is. I think I also saw a question about if you would like to update your major, or maybe you had a different major at the time when you applied, but now you would like to change your mind. You can meet with a counselor and they can update your student education plan and also get the new program that you were wanting to complete updated in our system. So that way then you're associated with the correct counselor, the correct pathway, and you start getting all of the relevant communication for your new major. So I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you for chiming in on that. I appreciate it. So great, guys, a lot of great questions. Hopefully we're answering your questions as you go through. I know that Natasha's jumped in. She's sharing, if you're not sure about your major, we have some opportunities for you to do some exploration. You know, we have some activities and some assessments that you can take to help you, you know, figure out what you want to do. I mean, that's what college is all about, is figuring out and growing, you know, as an individual, and figuring out what your passions are and how you can, you know, hopefully, you know, be inspired to pursue a career pathway. So definitely we're here to support. Next thing I want to do is I want to share the website. The website has a lot of the information that you guys are asking, and it has a lot of resources that can help you probably answer most of the questions that you guys have shared. So 1 second, let me bring that up. So again, this is the Virtual Tiger preview page, and we have 4 different areas. We have Entering the Path, we have Get Connected, Staying on Path, and also Get Involved. So the first thing that we have here on the Entering the Path is we have a welcome video from Dr. Buckley, Dr. Jerry Buckley. He's our president. This is a great video overview on our programs, but also it talks about what you need to do in order to be on campus. So it talks about the PPE requirements. It talks specifically about you know, needing a face mask and respecting social distancing, and really checking your email and communication to make sure you have all the up-to-date information. Just under that, we have our guided pathway website. This is a new thing that actually was just launched, I believe, this week. It has more information. So I shared with you guys just that small graphic, but there's a lot of information on this to get you connected with your specific pathway. We have a Google map. We have a Google map of our campus that you can click in to look at the different buildings and information around the campus. As we get further into the semester, we're going to do probably a live virtual tour of the campus, just to get you guys comfortable and familiar with the lay of the land. When we do make it back to campus, what are some points of contact where you can come and meet people to help. We're going to have a welcome center, for example, so we'll have that as a part of this area. Getting connected, it has more information on technology, on where to go to borrow technology, how to access the portal, and then the bookstore link is there as well. So again, I know we've asked about where to buy books and how to pay for books. We have an online bookstore, so you can buy your textbooks online. Again, this is linked through Canvas now, so it's a little bit easier for you, but you can go through there to look up textbooks. If you do need to go to campus to go to the physical bookstore, you can. What I would recommend is you call our bookstore, because I know their hours are a little bit different now. But if you do have to go to campus, you want to make sure that you're wearing that face mask. Okay. Staying on the path, this is how to get connected with the counselor. I know earlier we had somebody asking, how do I get to a counselor? This is a link that'll show you how to make an appointment to see a counselor, but also you'll have your Pathway Counselor's contact information on your Canvas page. The Academic Success Centers, these are tutorial. This is our tutors. So this is where you can get more information on how to get connected with tutors. A lot of the classes have embedded tutors, which means there's a tutor that's going to be in your Canvas shell. So you'll learn more about that. And then information on our library, where to go to receive help with doing research and different activities and events they have for the library. The last link down here is getting connected. So we have a link to our athletics page. At this point, athletics are you know, going to be postponed, but we still want to make sure that you're informed about what we do have to offer. And then definitely when we get back to campus, we want to make sure we're supporting all of our athletic teams. We have a link to the Associate Student Government. I'm going to give Stephen and his folks a couple minutes to discuss how to get involved with that. Something new this semester, we're actually going to have college hour for students. So it's an opportunity for you to get in and participate, very similar to today, about different topics and different strategies to be successful. And this is going to be activities, which is going to be, again, this is Vanessa's page of all of the events and things that we're going to be doing during the fall, and the spring semesters will be here. Tiger Pantry, we do have a food pantry on campus, as well as our social media direct links. So again, make sure you're following us on social media to get the most up-to-date information on everything that we're doing. Okay, so again, this is a website dedicated for today. We're going to pull out the RSVP link and we'll have a recording of this on our website as well. So guys, we're coming close to an end. We still have some questions that are kind of coming through. Again, if you need to know which textbooks, go to Canvas. On the Canvas page, there's a link on the left-hand side towards the bottom that says My Bookstore, and that's actually where they'll have all of your books linked, all of your classes. They'll be pre-populated into a cart for you so that you can buy your books there. It'll also show, again, if your class doesn't have textbook requirements. Some of our teachers have moved to using online resources to save some money for our students, which is awesome. So you don't have to have books for every class. Guys, anything else to add? ASG, I'd love for you guys to share how students can get involved with ASG, if you guys have meetings that are coming up, anything like that.
Yeah, I'd love to share a couple
answer
things.
that.
Oh yeah, go for it, Gerardo.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Steven.
All right, first off, I just want to say thanks to everyone that showed up. As ASG members, we are the collective student voice, right? We're here to represent students to the college. So what we do, yeah, we put on events, but our main duty as student government members is to represent you in committees across campus and just to be the collective voice of students. So if issues arise on campus and you're struggling with certain things, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We're here to be the listening ear, to get a pulse on the student climate and be able to speak with the faculty and the administration and hopefully see some successful changes in order to help you succeed. If you want to get involved, we would love to have you. There's different positions, specifically senators and the executive committee, where you can come in and make decisions that directly affect students on the campus, campus-wide. And if you've ever, in high school, you've probably seen student government, and the different things that they did, that's not really that much different from what we do on this campus. So we would love to have you. Our meetings are Fridays. Gerardo will talk about that in a second. So you can always call in and just kind of get the lowdown on what we're doing throughout the year. There are clubs that are on campus, so reach out to us. We're in charge of the clubs. We can plug you into different clubs. Some of the clubs are still going to be meeting virtually. Unfortunately, my Frisbee club won't be meeting because we can't social distance while playing Ultimate Frisbee. But once that breaks, I'm hoping to see you all out there. And then one other main thing that we do is we sell a Tiger One card, which is your student ID card, and it's $10. It lasts for a year. You can use that Tiger One card at many different businesses throughout Reedley, Sanger, Orange Cove, Dinuba, and all the surrounding cities. It works at a lot of restaurants to get you discounts, a lot of clothing stores, different things like that. Some places just offer, if you show them a student ID, you know, they offer discounts and stuff like that. So the proceeds from those Tiger One cards is what goes into doing the events and different things that are that happen on campus and that are going to be happening virtually this year. So we'd love for you to get involved. If you want to see change on campus, get involved with ASG, where, you know, we sit in those committees where, you know, decisions are directly made that affect you throughout the year.
Before we move on, I just want to mention a little bit more about the Tiger One card. Because we're not on campus, we are, hopefully by the end of the week, you guys will have the option to purchase your Tiger One card online. You'll be able to upload your photo and we will mail your card to you. So stay on top of our social media. We will share it that way, but you'll be able to purchase it through WebAdvisor. So we'll send out more information once it's live, and but yep, you'll be able to purchase it online, so you still have that option and don't have to come in on campus.
And if they want to renew it, then?
Yeah, someone just asked that. If they want to renew the ID.
How much is it? Is that what you asked?
No, how do they renew the student ID if it expires this year?
Right, it'll be via WebAdvisor, and we'll share the flyer before the end of the week just to let everybody know that it is live. We're just waiting on a couple of issues that we came across, but it's going to be via WebAdvisor. You'll be able to add it to your shopping cart and you check out and you purchase it. And then you'll be getting an email after that with instructions on how you upload your photo and how you'll be receiving it, your card.
So I see a question in the chat. Bianca says, if the Canvas page is open, if it's live, should I start working on assignments now or should I just wait till next week? What do you guys think? What is your feedback on that?
Start as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yeah, because it's always better to be ahead rather than falling behind.